All right, we good, brother.
Ready?
Yep.
Well, welcome to the Collective Perspective. I am Robert Lee Ward Jr., and we always got an important job to do. And it's only concerning for people, everybody, anybody, somebody, nobody. And this is a coalition roll call. Can somebody please stand up?
Yeah, man, this is your boy somebody. Going anyway, this is
All right, we good, brother.
this is your brother
All right,
Ernest,
we good,
man.
brother.
Give me a second. Let me I'm
Yep.
hitting this. Anyway, this is your boy Ernest, pastor, son, brother, cousin, lover, friend, homie, ride or die. On the line tonight with my brother, with my brothers tonight. As a matter of fact, a new brother, Jamie Clay, and we got Brian coming on tonight, and I'm checking in from the South Side, man. We doing word of the night tonight? We doing word of the day?
Yeah, word of the day, every day.
Doing word of the day. Let's go with because I wasn't prepared for that one. Let's go with black. Black, like what that word really means. When you look at the etymology of that word, it actually means shining, shining or bright light. So that's my word. That's my word, because we are not who they say we are. I can tell you that much. We are way more than what they say we are. We are the light of this world. We are shining. We bright. We own. With that, I'm in.
Who you checking in with, Jimmy?
You know what? I'm gonna check in with anybody.
Anybody.
Because you know what? We need anybody to stand up and share a good word, share knowledge with our friends and family, and really make sure that we're all part of the conversation, right? I love the name, having the right perspective, sharing that information with everyone. I'm glad people are focused and tuned in today. And my word of today is focus. Listen, we can't lose focus off the agenda that God has set for us. And some of us, we go on our own little missions, but sometimes we want to look off of somebody else. Stay focused on what God has in store for you and for you to do. So the word of the day is focus.
I'm gonna check in. I'm gonna check in as nobody. I'm gonna leave anybody. I'm gonna leave anybody for what's left? Anybody?
No, I did anybody.
Everybody. You anybody. I'm gonna leave everybody for last man standing. But I'm gonna check in today is nobody. And I am Robert Orr from South Side of Chicago. And my word of the day is consequences. I think we need to learn how to level out consequences for these actions that's oppressing people or this distracting people, trying to hinder people from moving freely and experiencing liberation the way this society was intended to be experienced. So with that, we are all checked in until one more man decide to show up and check in. We're gonna get rolling. First of all, Jamie, welcome to the program, and we want you to give us a little bit of background on your conceal and carry business you got going on.
Man, let me give you a little bit of background about myself. As you know already, Robert, I'm not only Jamie Clay, but I'm also a man of God, a pastor, an elder, and a husband of 25 years. I'm sorry, my wife would kill me if I said 25. Actually, May would be 29 years. 29 years married. And I've been firearms for years. I was sharing earlier that my first time touching the firearm was 14 years old in Westinghouse High School on the ROTC team.
Wow.
And so, spent some time in the military. And, I saw a lot of people out there who wanted the knowledge, went out and bought firearms, but really didn't know what to do with them. And in my opinion, put themselves and their family in danger. And so I decided to take on, this position to educate people on safe firearm ownership.
Okay. Go ahead, Ernest.
No, I was just I was amen, and I was just an amen choir on that one, brother.
Well, thank you for the amen, bro.
Because like you said, Jamie, the conversation that we were having earlier, we had talked about, I guess it's typical for us to think, and I say us because looking at the worldview that we use, when you hear about a man coming from the West Side, Westinghouse, talking about, hey, the first time I touched a gun was actually in ROTC and not on the streets, not in a gang. How were you able to, what was it about your situation that you were able to navigate yourself to a point where the first time you were able to see a gun was in high school or touch a gun and practice with a gun in high school in
You
a
know,
structured program?
let me say this because I grew up on the West Side, and where I grew up at around Chicago and Pulaski was voted the most dangerous neighborhood in the city at that time in 1980s.
Okay.
And so a lot of people don't know this, but my father was one of the original gangster disciples. And so for me, it was trying to stay out of trouble. I wasn't successful in that. And my mom knew it. And so when I went to high school and she's like, you know what, I'm going to go and set up your classes. And she came home and told me, you are in ROTC. And so she said, you know what, you can hang out with your friends any other time, but you need to learn some structure. So I'm going to put you in ROTC. And actually, you know what, I think that was one of the best decisions she made for me, right? Because that helped, that was the catalyst to take me to where I am today and the life that I led. And so that first time in ROTC on a rifle team with a bolt action 22, learning how to shoot, it gave you a respect for guns. You know, right now, kids don't have no respect for guns because they don't even realize its true power.
Okay, I thought you was getting ready to go into that one. Okay,
man, I want to, but I'm trying. Rob already, so
Hey man, come on, man. Hey, come on, man. Go ahead, man. Go ahead, do your thing, man. Like we really need to know this information, man. We need to know, so now, I was just, being lighthearted, man,
Well, and the reason why I was thinking that it is relevant because it is akin to gun control. When we talk about respect for, I think about that scene from this movie DMX was in with, was it Romeo Must Die? When he said, guns don't kill people, people kill people.
Yeah. Because here's the thing, and we have to understand where gun control really comes from. Gun control was not anything. Think about this for a second. There are far less gun controls in the South than there is in the North.
Okay.
There are people in the North who claim to be our friends in terms of politicians, but yet they want to control our ability to take care of ourselves and our families. The states with the most strictest gun control are states that we live. And so when you think about gun control, think about it. California got deep into gun control because the Black Panthers was out there with their rifles walking around. Then all of a sudden they had gun control, right? And so now when people talk about gun control, what they're really saying is that we don't want everybody to carry. When you hear gun, people, Second Amendment, what's the first image that comes to your mind? It's not a Black man. Right? And so when we learn to accept the rights of everyone else and the right to bear arms to defend us and our family, then that's us taking control of our own destinies. Slaves couldn't carry guns. Black Americans in the first military could not carry guns. And so it was a way to control, and there's a way that we are still being controlled. Chicago has one of the highest murder rate, but strictest gun laws. Why? Because we don't teach people to respect guns. We don't educate people on guns. And so that's really what I wanted to do is make sure we know about our rights and that we exercise our rights and that we, and that we learn the skills that everyone else is learning around us. We're the only ones blind.
Yeah. You make a good point because Maya Angelou says only a fool depends on someone else to protect them.
Yeah.
And obviously, having a gun is way more to protecting yourself than having a gun, owning a gun.
Right.
But when you talk about what does respect for a gun look like? Because I know you're doing instructions, you have a business where you're actually teaching people how to properly and appropriately use guns. But what does that look like to have respect for a gun? Like, especially for a young person, if an adult is talking to a young person out on the street, what are some of the kind of things that kid needs to hear and be heard over and over again to know what it means to respect the gun?
Man, respecting the gun is knowing that it can take someone's life. I think once you start there and you understand the power that comes behind it, it doesn't make you act more ignorant, right? meaning lack of knowledge, it causes you to step back and review, why am I doing this? When people go through my class, they'll tell you, listen, I wish I hadn't came here, because now you're telling me about the responsibilities of owning a firearm, right? You're telling me that I can't just take no one's life for trying to take my car. No, you can't.
Right.
And so when people begin to learn that a gun can be used for a bunch of different things, and protecting yourself is just one. I just like it for sport. I like going to the range. I like
even with these high bullets today.
Yeah, even with these high bullets, I find me a cell. I buy me 1,000 rounds, and I go to the range and I let off steam, or
that's how you let off steam, man.
I let off steam, right? That's why I'm so even killed, right?
Even okay,
but think about it, man. I mean, you think about, and I think that came really from the ROTC, because the first time I went in there and the guy handed me a rifle and said, hey, I want you to shoot that target down there. When you heard that pop, you know that something was coming out that can take someone's life.
Okay.
Here's today, the reason I say they don't respect guns, because they don't even understand the value of life. Right? And so we carry, or I carry, so that I can protect my life. I don't want to have to take anyone else's life, but I'm not going to allow you to take mine. So that is really the respect for firearms, knowing, when I take people to the range, first time touching a firearm, and they hit that first shot, I always tell them, take the first shot first and just lay it down. Begin to understand the power that you're holding in your hands. And then that allows you to respect that firearm as not only a weapon, but also a tool to protect you and your family. Gun community, they say, it takes the average police 10 minutes to come to your location. A bullet travels 1,400 feet per second.
Yes, sir.
And so I'm not going to wait for someone else to protect me and my family. I got to get trained. And that's where I come in. You got to get trained, or else you're going to end up hurting yourself.
And so we're going to get to that point, especially about the hurting part. But I want to talk a lot more about like the history of gun control in the U.S. Yeah. Okay, because like you mentioned, hey, you talked about some states where the strictest gun controls is where we are, and I'm assuming you mean that so-called Black people group, right?
Yeah, think about it: Illinois, Chicago, New York, California. These are states that's restricting. But here's the truth of the matter: is even the states in the South, there's certain areas that you go, when you walk in there, you feel like you out of place. Right. And that's why I really challenge my Second Amendment community to say, if you truly believe in the Second Amendment, if you look at my website, newforusa.com, it says united for all, because my simple mission is, hey, we all got to stand together if we're going to push off this so-called gun control. Because I don't know no criminal that's reviewing the statutes of laws before they commit a crime.
No.
Right. So gun control isn't for criminals. It's for law-abiding citizens. And why should we be at a disadvantage when people are carjacking people every 2 hours?
So now you put that together now, but again, so like you mentioned earlier, having a respect for gun means having a value for life, and understanding that this weapon can take someone's life. And it sounds like you're putting the two together now. When being carjacked, is that an opportunity to use a gun? Is that
it's an opportunity for you to even the playing field, right? I mean, you think about where most of these carjackings are happening is happening in areas where people know that 9 out of 10 times you're not carrying anything.
Okay.
Did you hear about carjackings in Texas? And simply because everybody down there is packing.
True that.
And so, let's face it, criminals are lazy, right? They became criminals. So they don't want to attack anyone who they feel can give them a fight.
Right.
In fact, in my class, I teach people, don't look like a victim when you're walking down the street, right? When you look like a victim, you're more likely to become a victim. And so the class teach you not only about guns, it teach you about yourself, your surroundings, right? It's called situational awareness, right? Knowing so that I don't have to use my gun. I see this guy down the block who looks suspicious, I'm gonna turn the other way, right? Because I don't want to have to take anyone's life. A gun doesn't give me the power to now I can walk into any neighborhood I want and I dare somebody to come up to me and I'm gonna shoot them. No, a gun doesn't do that. And anybody who train you that way is not training you properly.
Okay.
The proper training is to avoid conflict and when all else fail, have the skills to defend you and your family.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
So in these communities, we call it Black community, right?
Urban,
Black community,
urban
yeah.
now. That's a new name. Urban.
When you call it
urban now.
Urban, yeah. Let's call it something different today. Let's call it a post-traumatic stress area.
Yeah.
Post-traumatic stress area, because it don't feel as though we're talking about the Black community when we say that to me. It seems like we're talking about a specific area, like the specific culture of an area, you know, and this is where a lot of trauma has occurred at. But we generalize it and we say Black community, right? But it's not really all of the Black community. So my point is, how do we change the narrative of that stereotype? Or who changes who's responsible for that stereotype, the narrative of that stereotype changing?
Well, I mean, when you talk about post-traumatic stress areas or these type of areas, we got to think about what kids have seen in these communities, right? I remember being on the west side of Chicago, and I had to be no more than 9 years old the first time I saw someone take their last breath from being shot, right? So that's stress. And you know, the people who change that community is in the mirror, right? Because we can't, you know, and I know a lot of people don't like, we can't blame everybody for everything that goes wrong in our communities, because the simple fact of the matter is, you know, I share with you guys, I'm off the west side of Chicago. Yeah, I dib and dab and gain membership and all that. But at some point I had to make a decision to change my whole mindset to do something differently, right? And I remember when I went to the military down in Fort Benning, Georgia, everybody was talking about me. Oh, why are you going to join the white man's army? Why are you going to do this? First of all, if I didn't, I'd probably be dead this summer. That's what I told them. And then when I came back, I saw a whole different side of the world, right? People fall into these communities because that's all they know, right? That's as far as their eyes can see. I remember looking down Iowa and Thomas and seeing the Sears Tower and knowing that is so far from where I live, right? Because every day you have to struggle to try to stay alive. And you know, the postpartum, the PTSD is really from the traumatic issues that we see on a daily basis that we live, but yet we confine ourselves to that one box. Mm-hmm. So who's going to change it? We have to change it.
Yeah.
Even when it comes to gun control ain't doing nothing for the inner city. Nothing. Mm-hmm. Right? All it does, it makes more victims. That's all it does.
Wow.
So if you really care about me as a politician, why make me a victim? You're not going to live right next door to me, right? You're not going to go through the same things I go through.
Right.
But you want me to be defenseless and depend on the police who even scared to come into the neighborhood themselves.
Right. Right.
Does that make sense?
So yeah, how would you factor mental health, real mental health in, you know, not just putting a little coin phrase out there talking about post-traumatic stress. No, real mental illness that comes from these conditions for real, and gun control. How do you line those up? Like how should there be an evaluation, even though they never had a record before anything else? Should there be some type of evaluation on gun ownership, or we should just go off the citizen rights all the way across the board?
You know, in my opinion, man, to be honest with you, it should be off citizens' rights, right? Yeah. If there's nothing already evaluating, mean that because the law now states if you've been in a mental institution the last 5 years, you can't have it concealed, right? And so don't try to come now if I ain't never been there and try to tell me I can't carry because you're trying to control me. Especially in the city of Chicago. That's one of the few cities in this whole state that when you apply for a concealed carry, they are more likely to deny you, the city, not the state, not the feds. The city is more likely to deny you just because of your name and where you live. Is that fair? It's just like redlining, right? They did back in the 50s and 60s when it came to housing. They said this area, right? The city is doing the exact same thing, but yet they said that they're doing it for our good. How are you helping me by disarming me? If I'm a law-abiding citizen, if I don't have a felony, right? If I haven't been in a mental institution, if I haven't had a domestic violence, because these are the reasons why you will not get a conceal. If I hadn't had these things, why would you deny me the right to defend myself? I'm that person. I don't believe in gun-free zones. Gun-free zones are main opportunities for criminals to come in and take advantage of people.
Mm-hmm.
On the CTA, very high crime, and you're not allowed to carry on public transportation.
That's right.
So now, if I'm a criminal, where am I going? CTA. I'm going to that L stop.
Yeah, there was a lady maybe about a year ago, 2 years ago, on 103rd. She was waiting on the bus. You remember that?
Yeah.
The guy tried to rob her while she was waiting early in the morning, 5 in the morning. She ended up shooting him in the head.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm thinking, because she knows what's best for her. I need to have my. She's not about to stash her pistol when she gets on the bus.
Right.
That's not about to happen. So again, because I've been on the red line at late, coming from the west side, man, working. I got on at 11 o'clock at night, and it's a different ambiance, man. I mean, people say liquor.
He said ambiance. I like that.
Man, it's like party central, but yet it's also an opportunity for groups of guys and kids to take advantage of working people.
And older people, man. And I think that's the most difficult part is, what the gun control just creates more victims.
That's good, man. That's good.
That's creates more victims. And so when you have, or when you a person in your right mind and you don't have a felony, you don't have a criminal record, right? You haven't been involved in gang activity in the last 3-5 years. That's actually a way to deny people. Then guess what? If I pass all those hurdles, why continue to put control on me? Because you can't control the criminals. When you are able to control criminals, that they stop doing crime, then I'll stop carrying. Until then, it's not gonna happen.
So what do you say to those people who like, man, I ain't going to no master to go get no license to carry no gun. You know what I'm saying? I have a right to protect myself. I don't need to go and get no approval from the man or from the government. What do you say, especially considering your experience and your expertise in this area, what would you say to a person who has that argument?
Man, I would say this, I understand what you're saying, but I also know that there's laws for a reason. And I understand for me to not go against the law, that I need to go ahead and file this paperwork, right? And if you want to carry I'm the type of person, I believe in gun ownership and legal gun ownership so much. I think anybody get caught without the approval needs to go to jail, right? Because that is why politicians think more gun control will help me, is because they see all the criminals out there. So if the criminals are treated like criminals, then guess what? Hopefully that gives me more freedom to carry when and where I want. And so I trust me, I believe in people saying the Second Amendment is my permit. Great job. But if you get caught, you go into jail, right? And so why go against the law when you can still pass the background check, still get a permit to carry a concealed weapon? And I think, to me, that's the best route. By all means, if you feel you want to carry because you want to carry, go ahead. You're probably gonna end up in jail, or you're gonna end up hurting someone else, because most of those people are not even properly trained. And so I tell people all the time, training is the most important thing. And you don't want to get a gun to protect you and your family, and you be the cause of someone dying.
Okay.
Is there a pathway back to regular citizenship for people who may have had a mark on their record for carrying? Just say if you're young or whatever, and you start getting old, you need matured, and you want to carry again. You want to get back into the, if you just send people to jail and they get that mark on them, now they can't ever carry. I like, how does that?
Well, to be honest with you, I think first of all, I think you start with the laws, right? I don't think just because you have one felon means you should not be able to carry for the rest of your life, right?
Right.
If you go to jail, you pay your debt to society. In my opinion, you should have the right to vote and do everything else after a certain period of time. And that's even so with concealed. But the reason why I'm probably harder about those who carry illegally is because, in my opinion, that's the reason why those who carry legally are being hindered. Right? That's the reason why people saying we can't carry on public transportation, we can't carry in the park, we can't carry in permit events, like things like that don't make sense. Any opportunity is opportunity for criminal, and when they know when and where you can't carry, now you become a mark.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, good point. No, I was just gonna say that's a really good point. I mean, and a lot of I know, like, the collective trauma that this country has experienced, we've seen people be victims at these types of events with mass shootings. So and it just makes sense with people not able to defend themselves.
And
so
everybody, right? And even in Vegas, you remember when that guy shot 200-something people
out that window,
at a country music, right? And what I don't understand is people trying to make gun laws for these special events when people are dying every day on the streets of Chicago, on the streets of Baltimore, on the streets of Jacksonville, Florida. People dying every day is because you got to make sure that you have laws that make sense, and you should give legal people more rights and not try to pop them in with the criminals, because the criminals don't care about your laws, plain and simple.
No. Do you advocate for your trainees to be involved with these organizations, to advocate for these types of laws, for less restrictions and so on and so forth? And how would you say that's turning out? How do people respond to that?
You know what? The truth of the matter is, in the gun community, of course, mostly everybody is Republican, right? And so, but here's the thing, though. The face of guns have changed. There's more African Americans, more Latinos purchasing guns than ever before. And here's my fear. My fear is that politicians will still stay on that gun control train, not understanding that the people they represent want to be able to carry guns.
Got you.
When I have my classes, most of the people that come through that look like me, right? They want the ability to control their own destiny. But yet we got politicians, because we live in Illinois, saying we need more gun control, when really we saying stop. Listen, deal with the criminals. Don't deal with the legal folk.
Right.
Okay? Deal with the criminals so that we can take care of ourselves. And so, the Democratic Party is going to dig themselves a hole if they keep going down the gun control train. Because there are groups out there. I don't know if you guys heard of NAGA, National African American Gun Association. They're actually based in Georgia.
Okay.
And that's one of the fastest gun groups, growing gun groups in the country, and they're all African American. There's a lot of people that look like us are getting involved in guns because we're saying, you know what? At some point, we got to take our own destiny. The government's not going to do it. They haven't done it. The streets ain't got no better. They're only getting worse. So at some point, you know what? All parties are going to have to come to grips that guns is just part of our society, and no one should have an advantage over someone else. And so if you can't control the criminals, don't try to control me.
Yeah, I like that point that you made earlier about, the carjacking and appropriate. What's appropriate about having a gun in that kind of situation is like it evens the playing field. I like that. Because what was it? What was that? Remember the fireman who got killed a couple of months ago? He had a pistol too, right? He actually shot one of the guys, didn't he, or something to that effect?
Well, I believe he shot one of the guys, but see that goes to the next step of not only having a conceal, but getting trained, right? Because I'm so sad that a brother had to lose his life because some thugs, and I can say this because I'm not talking about all black people. I'm talking about the ones that try to take his car, who sat there and waited for him to come out of that popcorn shop for the opportunity to take his car, and he had a conceal, took his conceal, and started shooting. The only thing that he did wrong is that he came from behind cover.
Okay, right. Yeah.
If you notice, when he first pulled his gun, he went back behind his car. But when he started shooting, he came out, and the guy who was running shooting
backwards. Yeah.
And one of them struck him.
Wow.
And so the training is that much more important, right? If you're gonna carry, get trained. And so that's what I teach people. I tell them, hey, listen, this concealed carry class, this is only your first step.
Right.
It's to get in the range, get comfortable with your firearm, go take classes so that you become secure in your firearm. There are a lot of people who got firearms who still aren't secure with carrying.
Okay.
And to me, they are more of a danger to themselves than anyone else.
Gotcha.
Plug yourself. If somebody want to get trained, plug yourself real quick. Give somebody where they go.
Plug myself. You can visit my website, nufausa.com. That's NUFAUSA.com. NUFAUSA.com. I have concealed carry classes on there, renewal classes, and I just put up a defensive shooting class we are having on April 17th to take people to the next level, right? So not only going to the range, but also getting out there and putting yourself into different scenarios and how you should react.
That's good, brother. What's the ranges of the prices for your classes, if you don't mind sharing?
Right now, the concealed carry class is $149.99. I tell people right now, because as this vaccine get out and the classes get full, the normal price for a concealed carry class is easily $250.
Okay.
So I'm trying to get people in at this price so that people can have their concealed carry hopefully by the summer. And so that's my whole thing. Don't let the summer get here and say, "Oh man, I should have had my concealed carry." And
They talking about
get it in now. Get it in now.
Right now.
Go to my website, sign up.
So that's like kind of getting your summer body together. You got to get your
you know what? We all trying to lose a few pounds before the summer get here, right? And so I say that so that you can carry a nice little sidearm and it won't be inside your belly,
Won't be all messing with my baby fat. Okay, all right. That's what I'm talking about right there, brother. That boy be thinking. I love it.
That's it, man. That's it. Get it in.
So now you talked about the different you talked about, like, okay, you go get your conceal and carry. Probably a lot of people are not thinking, oh yeah, I need to do advanced training after that. What are some of those? You just talked about defense shooting. What are some of those other advanced training classes that you offer?
So here's what I tell people to do, right? I have one-on-one shooting classes. First of all, once you get your concealed carry, we want to get your firearm that you're going to conceal carry. I want to teach you how to clean it, teach you how to maintenance it, right? And then take you to an indoor range first so that you can work on your accuracy, right? Once you start working on your accuracy, once you start learning your pistol, then you go to defensive training classes where we put up different scenarios and train you how to react, right? These are things that I learned over the years, spending 9 years in the military. These are things that will help save your life, right? Because as a concealed carry person, I'm always thinking about scenarios, right? Even when I'm out on the street, I'm walking like, what if this happened? What would I do?
Right.
When I go into a place, I'm looking at the X's. Where are the exit signs? Where can somebody come in? Make sure, you probably do it, don't even know why. You go into the restaurant, you sit facing the door, right? It's those type things that you learn over time. And even for business owners, right? Me and my brothers owned a car wash at one point, and I said, listen, all three of us should never be at the same spot at the same time, especially when it's close to closing, right? Somebody should be outside in the car, somebody should be in the back, somebody should be in the front. Because if someone comes in, you don't want to make it easy for the criminals, right? You want to spread us out so that they don't know where someone's coming from, right? It's the type of things you got to start learning. And so defensive shooting is a way for you to get those skills. And again, it's practice, right? I tell whatever your carry is, practice with it, learn it, love it, and use it.
It honestly, it sounds like to me, because I know Rob was really talking about the post-traumatic stress areas, right? And obviously Black people have gone through a lot of trauma. I mean, violent trauma at the hands of so-called white people and just this country in general. But it sounds like this gun training program can improve mental health.
It does.
That's what it sounds like.
No, here's what I would say. It gives you a healthy respect, like I said, for life. And so when you go out into different neighborhoods, you're not looking for confrontation. As a matter of fact, you're trying to minimize confrontation, right? That's one of the things you learn in concealed carry class. And so when something's about to pop off, instead of you engaging in it, you say, you know what, it ain't worth it. Walk away, right? So it changes your whole mindset. And so it gives you a piece of understanding.
Yeah, because you got that thing on you. That's
Right.
why you,
Right.
you got
But
that thing on
let
you.
me say
Y'all
this,
walk
right?
away.
Right. But see, here's the thing, and this is what I love about, because you got that thing on you, you know that I don't have to deal with this. Right.
Right.
And so
Right.
now I can back up and say, you know what, I'm gone, bro.
Right.
Now, if you keep coming after me, you're gonna catch a few hot ones. But other than that, right? But that is what gives you an even kill, right? That gives you some type of peace that I'm not going out looking for trouble, but I know if I need to defend myself, I can, right?
Yeah.
And that comes with that training. When you go out to the range and do defensive shooting, and we got you out there shooting 3-4 targets at a time, you know, that builds confidence. And so when you confidence, you're more even mind, right? It gives you that piece that, you know, that some people don't get when they walk through certain neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Rob, what are you laughing at, man?
I know, man. That's what that smirk is about.
I know, man. It's just, I don't know. I mean, you know, just to hear that the language all formal, you know, just like you're a dangerous man. Like you could be a dangerous dude, you know, but you can stay calm, you know, because you got all this stuff behind you. But go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say again, because I'm thinking about the seriousness of improving how especially at this point, it's a pivotal point for us to be able to improve our mental health and also deal with the trauma and heal from the wounds that we have. You know what I mean? And you know, I know a lot of people are, because again, when you talk about gun control, a lot of people don't want certain people to have guns.
Yeah.
Because they feel like there's a revenge, or, you know, these people are gonna come back and get up, you know, all this kind of good stuff, right? And then just simply because the book I'm reading right now, My Grandmother's Hands, talks about how historically whites see black bodies as being able to control them, that they have the right and the privilege to control these bodies. So the politicians, the momentum that the regulations, state regulations and federal regulations have is about controlling us.
Yeah.
That's just the momentum of it. But I think at the same time, like that's why I was asking you about about being a part of those organizations, because I think it's definitely time for us to not only advocate for our rights, but to also get the proper training and continued training as well. Because what it does is, it seems like it makes you think strategically, it makes you think divisive, it makes you preempt, it kind of takes you into different modalities of thinking, which I think, which you talked about earlier, is that, you know, people, when they're only exposed to certain things, they're just gonna fall in line to that, you know. But when you're exposed to more, you're just able to, you know, do more. You have more mental capacity, and it just seems like that would benefit a lot of people in our communities.
I think
too.
too.
Let me bring Tiny on real quick. Tiny, you on there?
Give me 1 second, cuz I'm finna chime in right now.
Okay.
Oh, we
Brian,
got
what's going on? Introduce yourself, Brian.
Yeah, I'm
How you doing?
Brian, go ahead, introduce yourself, man. Word of the day.
I'm Brian Williams. I need word of the day is
Let me get some.
Man, you H-rap, man. What you talking about, Brian?
well, okay. I'm H-Rap D, host of the Bench podcast.
He was answering it like his name was Brian. He thought he was answering it. He was answering it like his name was Brian.
Okay.
My name is Brian.
H-Rap D,
that's my slave name.
part of Built for This Network. I'm a podcaster. Love my folks. I love all humanity, but especially my folks. Come back to me on the word of the day, because I'm trying to think of the word. I know what I want to say, but I'm trying to think of the word. Come back to me on the word of the day.
All right, let me get my cousin, man, dropped in, man. You know, I'm glad to be graced with his presence, man. Go ahead, introduce yourself, bro.
What's up, everybody? I'm Ty McCullough from Chi-Town, Chicago. Born and raised 1973. Been seen it. Been around a lot of places. Been all over the country. Been all over the world. And I chimed in when you guys are speaking about gun carry, and I've experienced a lot dealing with guns and gun violence in Chicago, and then now all over the country, and then now mostly in America. So you know, I've been trained to carry, uh, and the thing about guns though, guns can give a person confidence. A confidence. See, there's a thin line between both of it because some guys carry guns and think that they can use them because they got them. Not everybody should have a gun. Yes. Hold on 1 second. Give me 1 second. I'm in the restaurant. I'm ordering. I'll be right back.
Yeah, we're gonna hold you on that one because he's.
We're gonna tag on that.
Yeah, we're gonna get you back. Yeah, that's a good piece.
Because he right.
Okay.
I think that's why, you know.
I'm gonna mute out, guys, and I'll be right back.
Okay. I think that's why, you know, it's important to get trained, right? Because you're right. You do got some people out there who, you know, the reason they want to conceal carry is because they want opportunity, right?
Right.
When really, that's not the main agenda. The main agenda is to, again, even the playing field. Criminals are out there carrying everything they can, right? There was a guy recently, a young black guy who was arrested because he was selling a device that you can put onto a semi-automatic pistol that makes it an automatic.
Yeah, that was out in Robbins.
Yeah, out in Robbins. And so the criminals are getting the tools, and yet you want to do gun control like it's gonna stop them. And I think that's the problem with me when it comes to gun control is when you start getting the criminals to listen, I'll stop carrying. But other than that, I got to find a way to even the playing field. No, I may not have that automatic tool that they got, but guess what? My skills and my training will hopefully give me the advantage I need to make sure that I'm the one walking away from this battle and not them.
I mean, knowledge is power, man. Knowledge is power, man. And if you're working with somebody who does not have the knowledge, they may have the weaponry, but they don't have the knowledge. You outperform any.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
All right. Okay, I'm back in, fellas. If y'all ready for me to continue that, what I was saying.
Yeah, brother.
Okay. All right. What I was saying when I spoke that, I've ran into a lot of situations to where even cops, look, let's think about this. Even cops with training and license to kill are making silly mistakes with these guns. So to take an individual and put a gun in their hand and expect them to do right, once you start hearing gunfire, all that training is out the window. And the proof of that is by looking at the police officers that go through training. And some of these guys on the streets may have more training than the police officers, but they do not have that right to kill. Yes, we may be able to bear arms, but that's wasn't designed for us to do, because I guarantee you, yes, it's best to be judged by 12 and then be carried by 6. But the thing is that you're gonna go to jail once you discharge that weapon. You are going to jail for some reason, even if it's just firing in a public place or whatever you do, or brandishing. Exactly. You got guys. We out here dying with rights to carry a gun by the hands of the police. So just that alone makes it a challenge for us as black men in this country, just to own a gun. We tell a cop we got a gun before we even show it. They want to kill us. Now, if they killing us without a gun, so what is it gonna be like if we all carrying guns?
Now, see, that was,
you know what, brother, I hear your point. But let me say this. I mean, I have to say is that just because someone treats you a certain way don't mean you have to accept it as a society. And so when we talk about police, the truth of the matter is there's a whole lot of police officers out there who so-called went through training who aren't trained.
Okay.
Right. And so when we talk about our ability to carry, no, we understand the responsibility. There is a high responsibility to carry, plain and simple. There's no other words about it. Anybody who send you out there and don't teach you that aren't teaching you concealed carry. Now, another thing is I am certified through USCCA, okay? And that's a concealed carry insurance company. So guess what? The same rights and privilege that they given people that don't look like me, I got the same plug now, right? So guess what? I get the best attorneys. I get bond paid for me right off top. I get lost wages. And so, yeah, in my class, you're going to not only learn firearms, but you're going to learn if you discharge your firearm 9 out of 10 times in the state of Illinois, you're going to jail. Now, the question is, how long you going to be in jail? And that's where that attorney or that concealed carry insurance comes in, because that gives me opportunity to get out of jail that night. That gives me the best attorney. They train you on what to do in the aftermath, meaning when you plead the fifth, actually shut your mouth and let your attorney speak for you. They teach you things that you can do to say, hey, please call the paramedics or ambulance for him and me, so that it takes you out of that situation, so that your attorney can get there and speak for you, right? There are certain things we don't know, and that is what get us in trouble, even defending our own life.
Right.
People think because you're defending your life, you're not going to go to jail, because an investigation has to be done. So you're going to go to jail until the investigation gets started. The trick is, are you going to be there? And so, you know, I hear you, brother, and it sounds like, you know, you've been through some traumatic things in life, but I will say that at the end of the day, we deserve the same rights as everyone else, and we shouldn't be held differently because of the color of our skin. And yeah, we need to learn how to act when the police come and we have a firearm on us, right? What to say, what not to say, what to do, because it does make a difference, right? And in Illinois, you don't have to confess you have a firearm unless they ask or they're about to find it, right? And then you put your hands on the steering wheel and you say, officer, what would you have me to do next? Right. You are in a little higher danger because of that. They're already scared of you anyway. Right.
Let me ask you this, Jamie. So from what I understand is that when you become a concealed carry, when you become registered as a concealed carry, that the law enforcement agencies have access to that information when you are pulled over or when your name is run through the system. Is that correct?
Well, it takes time for that information to flow to the system to get on your driver's records. So it can take up to a year. So the first year they may not know, but after that first year, most likely they are going to know when they run your license plate. They're going to know you're a concealed carry holder. So if they ask you, you have to tell them, right? Plain and simple. If you don't, you can go to jail for not telling them.
Okay. Right. So you mean if you have it on you,
right?
You not tell them. Okay.
Right. Well, you know, I'm gonna have it on me. So.
Gotcha. Would you say, okay, well, we already know what you on, brother.
Right. You already know what I'm on. You know, because at the end of the day, you know, I thank you, brothers, for having me. At the end of the day, we have relinquished our rights for too long.
Right.
We given it away.
Yeah.
In fact, we elect politicians to put more restrictions on us.
Yeah. And obviously they use that method of fear to get people to, you know, kind of give over the keys to them, you know.
Right.
You know, we obviously saw that one of the biggest pieces we saw that was with crack cocaine. You know, is that, you know, it just scared. I mean, even right now with the vaccinations and the coronavirus, everybody's just afraid. So we just, hey, whatever, you know, whatever you want to do, give us whatever you want to give us. And fear is just such a controlling mechanism to be able to get politicians to do what they want to do.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. They tell us we need more gun control, we need more gun controls. And we're not even thinking for a second that the criminals don't care about your gun control.
Right.
So who's being hindered? I keep saying that because it's so important, because again, we keep relinquishing our rights to bear arms when everybody, I remember when I first got into guns, I used to go to the range and people coming up with duffel bags of rifles and ammunition and all this stuff. And here we are, we happy, we got one pistol in our homes. and so when you think about it, we're already at a disadvantage.
Yeah.
And
you know what?
Go ahead.
Let's take it back to the beginning when you said criminals. All right. What labels a criminal? What is a criminal? A criminal is also a person and a human that has rights, that needs to protect himself also. So we have to try to include everyone to have the right to protect themselves.
You know
Because
what? You know
now
how I call a criminal though? I call a criminal the guys who try to carjack that fireman.
carjacking, yeah, I
Him,
got
right?
you. Yeah,
I call
I
criminals
know.
the people that's going out on the street trying to take advantage of other people. To me, that's a plain
Hmm.
criminal, right? I don't
That's
care
a
what
plain
color
criminal.
you are.
Right,
When you try
right,
to take
right.
advantage of someone else and try to take something that's not yours, you're a criminal.
Now they label criminals, and some things I can't say because I'm in position where I'm in
Right.
my
You
position where
mixed
I'm in now.
mixed companies.
Yeah. So, let's say you have um criminal. They label you a criminal because you got a felony, but all felonies are not the same. All
Right.
right. You have blue collar, white collar, and you have felonies that you just got caught up in the system and you got a felony.
Right.
So once you get that felony stamp, now you can't protect yourself no more. Now you got to depend on the cops to protect you. So what do you do as a felon? See, these are the type of questions and the type of answers that we need to be asking each other, because now we have the black man in the household that's considered to be a felon with a family, 4 kids, a wife, and he can't defend himself or his family. Now, the guys that can defend themselves, who can carry a gun, they already there. What is it gonna be? Because now the police can use it as their advantage, and the fact that you have an advantage, the police have an advantage that you have a gun. The same way they just pulled over that guy that just killed those, that just shot and killed those
Mm-hmm.
individuals in Georgia, and
Right.
that's where I reside at now. That's my state. I live in Georgia now. So, and then the guy just got shot in the back, and then they just shot another guy in the back while he was running and put the handcuffs on him while he had blood squirting out his back. These
Mhm.
are the type of things we have. It's so much deeper than just to be able to carry a gun. We have to. It's there's no answer. It's like there's no answer to this, because the these scenarios are so different. They so I don't know what to do or how to articulate some of the things that we go through out here on these streets, and dealing with these weapons. I mean, if you can't beat them, join them. But then it's that if you think about it, you're more likely to die by the gun with the gun than without a gun.
Mm.
Statistically, more people die with guns than without. Statistically speaking. Now you can Google it right now. I know somebody probably saying, okay, the gun violence, and then look at it and you will see that just because you carry a gun does not mean that you are protected.
No, heck you no. No.
No,
Doesn't
hey,
mean
bro,
that,
you hit on the head, right? Because
you know.
that's truth. But then that goes back to what I was saying earlier. If you are going to have a gun, you got to be trained. Plain and
Hmm.
there's a whole lot of folk out there who went in the last year, and some of y'all probably know some of these people. They went and purchased a gun within the last year, and they never been to the range. They never got trained.
Right,
You
right,
know what? Because
right.
and so you changed my frame of reference, because I'm just thinking, oh yeah, you get the license just so that way you can carry. But it's way more to that. It's way more than just being licensed
Yeah,
to carry. It's
right.
it's about having the right proper knowledge on how to use it, how to conduct myself. And again, I think that's
Hmm.
also key about how to handle yourself if you are in a crime situation. And how
Right.
to talk to the police. That's what I understand is you don't say anything to them, because that will
You
be
don't
you.
say not a
But
word.
but
Yes.
but but it's hard for us to do that because of the color of our skin. You remember how another person can spit, can talk crap, can
Yeah.
can disrespect the cop. They can crack their windshield down this high and pass them their driver's license. We can't do that. We don't have that option. As soon as we do something like that, it's automatically we calling in for backup. We got a disgruntled person and he's resisting arrest.
Mhm.
So once you get that tag, automatically they're coming with guns blazing, and they're gonna bust your window and drag you out the car, and you know the story.
Mhm.
A question earlier was asked. A question earlier was asked. I know Jamie answered it, but I just gonna throw it at Brian and Ty, since y'all just came on. Like, what do we do about the stereotype? Um, what do we do about the stereotype that's labeled on us? Like you say, in that regard, how do we, evolve, as men with that knowing that that stereotype, that narrative is on us. What do we do with that?
Well, we can use it to our advantage because first of all, I would never let a cop know I got a pistol, even if he asked me, because now this is the deal. Now, once I let him know I got a gun, he can shoot me and take my gun and say I touched it because he knew that I got a gun. Now he know that I got a gun. So cops would ride around with guns just so they can shoot us and put a gun on us. So now let's speak stereotype. And when I say use it to their advantage, because we know we are being stereotyped. So why would I let a cop know that I even got a pistol? We can't be honest in certain things because it will get us killed. You know, they're gonna search us anyway. They're gonna do the things that they want to do to us anyway. So our rights amongst them is minuscule. So I approach that situation like that. So if I already know that I don't have no rights when he pulled me over, it's a better chance that I can. My main thing is make it to the judge. So that's how I was able to make it to 47 years old on the streets of the Chicago and being out here in the world. Is that when I deal with a police officer, I deal with him and let him do whatever he needs to do so I can make it to the judge, because we all know that they are the judge and the executioner and the police officer. So my thing is to soothe him and make it to the judge. So if he want to give me a ticket and I get a ticket and I drive away, I won. If we living when we depart from a police officer, we won. But now we are dying in the hands of the county when we go to jail. So that we just had two of those just happen. Guys die in the custody of the sheriff department. So on a bag of weed, he get pulled over. The cop took him to jail for a bag of weed and they found him dead in his cell. So we just, to be stereotyped, it's gonna be, the conversation gonna have to start upscale, because we can't start from the bottom and work our way up. We got to start from the top and work our way down. And that's the politicians.
I'm gonna let Brian go because.
What you got on that, baby?
How you fight stereotypes? I'm gonna start where he left off at. You have to work from the top down. We must be engaged in this process. Like, you got two options. All of us, instead of getting a FOID card, we need to go get our passports and then get dual citizenship somewhere and leave. Most of us are not going to do that. Most of us are not going to do that, right? So politicians, since the beginning of time, have said, we must create a union inside of people that look like us. See, this is where a lot of people separate with me. I come from a community-based mindset. We must heal Ty and Jamie and Rob and EJ. We must heal those guys first, and then we start working on everybody outside of our community. But until we heal our community, these stereotypes are gonna be there. So, what I mean by that is this: we create a community, and we start, circulating the dollar, like Dr. Claude Anderson says. And just like his 5-step program, you start buying these politicians, so you start enforcing laws, and you start getting people inside of your community to police your community. Now, you need, like, this brother right here, Jamie. We need everybody that's listening to this, everybody who will ever see this, and everybody who this is directed towards needs to be on the phone with Jamie tomorrow. Jamie, train me. Now you're all getting trained, because it's a difference when people will approach you in a different way when they know you are educated, one, because you can't get a conceal and carry without being educated. For two, they know at that point, I can let my window down this much and hand you my license, because for one, he got a gun. For two, he's educated. And for three, I just can't pull any nonsense on him. So now we're going to get rid of that. And then back to the financial and the education part, you buy these politicians and you start to get laws enforced, because there's so many gun laws on the books right now that it's ridiculous. You get these laws enforced and you don't have to add no. What I need, well, if you ain't crazy, you can't get a gun. Well, in my experience,
come on with it, brother.
In my experience, I'm like my man Ty over here. People only as crazy as you allow them to be. I got an aunt who lived about a quarter mile down the street, and it's this she in the senior building. They let some young boy in here who ain't all together. And he went to acting a fool and hooting and hollering on the floor. I got off the elevator and looked at him. Hey, what's up, brother? He calmed right down because I'm about 100 pounds heavier than him, and I'm about 3 inches taller than him. I'm about to go to my crib. He did almost kick my aunt wall in, but he saw somebody that'll put the paws on him. And he said, "Hold it, I ain't crazy no more. I ain't so crazy." He went right back into his apartment. So what we have to do is create a community. 2, buy on the politicians. 3, get laws enforced in our name. 4, start raising our kids like this. Like our African brothers, you're gonna be an attorney or a doctor. Those are your options. Okay, you want to fight all the time, you're a little aggressive, we're gonna send you to the military, and when you come back, you're gonna be a cop. So now you got the military covered, and you're gonna be a cop. Hey, Ty, you are educated, brother, who obviously can converse. You are gonna be a politician. EJ, we're gonna get you to teach me to the spirit of people. Rob, you motivational. We're gonna get you to uplift the kids. And whatever I do, you know what I'm saying?
You're a director.
Yes. right, okay. That's what we have to do. Instead of talking about another law, that's like saying, you know what, we're gonna get some more speeding laws out here. Well, don't speed.
We don't need no
Right.
Don't speed.
Right.
And unless the gun laws change, I'm gonna give it out to hey Ty. Unless the gun laws change, and Jamie can speak better to this from what I'm seeing. Even if you're a fella, you can own a rifle and a shotgun. If you run your ass up to my house, I'm gonna blow your ass back out. Make sure you facing them and things like, because I'm a criminal justice major.
Right.
You have to have the verbiage, and Jamie can speak to this too.
Right.
You're always protecting your home and your family. If you protecting property, tell the warden I'll send you some squares. But if you're protecting your family and your person, you get to go home.
That's right.
And that's it.
Got you.
And you know what? I think that's the most important thing, right? Is education.
Right there. There ain't no Brian Williams.
Ain't no Brian talking like that.
Yeah, okay, I'm ready to try. That's what
Now what we gonna
You hear me, bro? It's really about education, because here's the thing, and brother Ty, I hear you, but if you tell the police you don't have one, they search you, guess what? They're gonna put you under the jail. That's because of who you are, as you already stated, right? And so
You're right.
You got to make sure that that you doing what's right, and like Brian said, or H-Rap, making sure you speak with some type of education, because what they waiting on us to do when they put us over, they waiting on us to wild out. Plain and simple.
Right.
All they want is an excuse. But if you
Right.
approach them in an educated manner, and you begin to walk them through the process, guess what? You are more likely to make it out of that. And guess what? Earn a lot of respect, because the truth of the matter is, police actually like concealed carry people. They actually do. Okay, because they understand that that you need to defend you and your family, plain and simple. And so, I tell brothers all the time, don't think you're gonna come to my class and get your concealed carry and go out there and be Superman. Don't think that one, right? You the only reason you get your concealed carry is to give you another option when all other options have failed. Plain and simple.
What some cops think about that concealed carry, that they give you the right to protect yourself against their crazy ass.
True that.
It does. I mean, the laws on the book say you have the right to protect yourself against anybody who's trying to defend you illegally.
Exactly.
And so, I tell brothers, when you come through, they say, "Man, we wish we never came here, because now I know I can't do certain things." No, I want you to be educated, because once you educated, you remove their advantage, because now you have the same advantage they have, because you have knowledge. And I tell, and the reason why you share some good numbers. When people have firearms, they are more likely to be shot with a firearm. It's true. Why? Because they are not trained. They're going out there, they're getting a firearm, they're putting. I saw one image where a guy put a firearm in his backside and shot his ass.
Damn.
Tupac.
Right?
Damn.
Right.
Damn.
Right.
Tupac shot himself in New York.
What was the football player in New York?
Mexico Burris.
Right, that shot himself, right?
Oh yeah. Okay.
Just because you got a gun don't need you to carry a gun until you are properly trained.
You know what? And let me
add one thing.
on this
Yeah,
up.
one thing.
You know,
Y'all spoke about the criminals, you know, the fellas and everything. Y'all forgot one group of criminals, the police.
Yeah.
Right. Right. And they kill somebody and they get to go home and continue to have their job and take paid leave and all that old crazy stuff, man. I just don't understand it. And for what was that family? This got 27 million for standing on
Floyd.
that man's Floyd just got
Big George
27.
Floyd.
Yeah.
Yeah, you notice his brother be on that Philonis be on there smiling now and stuff all of a sudden. Now he on there smiling instead of crying. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
mm,
I mean,
Do that to you.
yeah, money
Sure
do that
would.
to you. You know. So and them cops didn't even shoot him, man. They made that man suffer. They made that man suffer. Now this is what I wanted to bring up is that now they taking the eyes off of us and bringing it now on the Asians. Have you noticed that?
Tune in
Because
Tuesday.
now,
Yeah.
yeah, because now they're just speaking about Asian violence. What about the violence that we've been going through for centuries? And now they want to raise awareness to Asian violence. What about the awareness of violence that's been dealing with us? We're not just dealing with violence. At least the Asians got a place to call home. They can pack up and go home. We can't. We don't even know
And they
what home
own half
is.
this place.
And they exactly. They got
and
places
go
in
to
the
California, man.
Bahamas.
Don't go to California, San Francisco. That's
Right.
what you're gonna see, man.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
Right.
it's more than that. You got to think about it. China own more businesses in the United States than most United States.
The most, and that's right. That's
I
true.
mean, more jobs are created from China than anything
Right.
else.
Yeah.
So they got the economic power to do the things that we talking about doing. You kill 6 or 7 of them. It's all of a sudden now it's this big thing that's going on. But I just and they pushing it because it takes the eyes off of us and our rights.
Go ahead, B.
To back up Ty, they have thrown an anti-violence against Asian bill into the new COVID bill.
Bam. I
Yeah.
was just about to bring that up.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
How about that?
Hey, listen Tuesday, man. Tune in Tuesday.
Plug your show Tuesday, A-Trap.
Tuesday 5 p.m. I got a show called The End of the Bench to talk about cultural awareness and uplifting our folks, bringing about news stories and information that we need to be empowered, just like you brothers talking about, man.
How can people find the show?
You can go on YouTube and look up the THA space N space of space DA space bench. I'll put it in the chat room right here with us, so you just go in the chat room and you can see it.
Okay, we usually do this worldview. So I'm gonna hit on Jamie Clay. I'm gonna hit on Ty, man. Tell me about worldview. Tell me about somewhere you've been, somewhere you recommend people sliding up on. We already see you somewhere now, out of town, Ty, eating somewhere. So
I'm in Texas, man.
on the worldview, I want y'all to pick a spot and off the top. I know I put you on the spot, but I know you got something in you. Go ahead, Jamie.
Oh, I thought you were talking to H-Rap. Here's what I would say, man. I love being on here with a bunch of brothers who are educated, who are trying to educate our people, because too many times our people have relinquished our rights just because we're trying to fit in certain scenarios.
Right.
We don't want to carry because we feel like it's going to make us more of a target by police. Why should we allow someone's pressure to take us outside of our rights? And the truth of the matter is, when the Constitution was written, we know that it said that we were only 3/5 of man. So guess what? You didn't mean this right to be for me, but I'm taking it, okay? And I'm gonna take it, and I'm gonna own it, and I'm gonna share it with everybody who I can, so we all can walk around and educate each other on our rights and what we should be fighting for. At the end of the day, again, visit my website, nufausa.com, or on all social medias at NUFAUSA. That's Facebook, that's Twitter, that's Instagram, because I'm trying to get the word out. I'm trying to get people trained so that we can speak with the same education to empower ourselves so that no one will be able to take advantage of us. Plain and simple.
I don't know if I was breaking up real bad. I was asking you to give us some insight on somewhere you have been in the world. I didn't know if I was
Right.
breaking up real bad.
Insight
Right,
where I've been in the world.
Yeah, in the world, we got a concept called worldview. We kind of try to, give some where you've been.
Here's a worldview. Let's talk about Haiti, right? We look at our brothers and sisters. One of the first black countries that fought against the colonists and won their freedom, and now France is still owing them millions and billions of dollars that they refuse to pay. And so now it's time for our brothers and sisters in Haiti, who is right now going through a civil war inside their own country, where politicians are pitting them against each other. Listen, this is a country of greatness. This is a country that we need to support, and we need to support our brothers and sisters in Haiti. Worldview.
That's hot. It's dope. Ty, what you got?
Ty got that soup, it look like, man.
Yeah.
I just hit you on IG, Jamie.
All right.
You on Twitter with the same get down?
Brian?
Say again?
You on Twitter with the same get down?
Yep.
Okay, I'm on it. Ty on mute. I don't know if he know he's on mute.
What you got on worldview, Brian?
Where you want me to go the traditional way or the way Brother Jamie?
Traditional way.
Okay. The traditional way, it's this little place. When we go on vacations, we always think something way far away or something extremely exotic and it's expensive and things of that nature. It's this place, actually not far from where Jim Brown was born. It's called St. Simon's. It's right. It's at the coastal portion where Florida, Georgia, and North Carolina meet, right there at the Atlantic Ocean. It is a former enslaved African port, because I try not to call our folks slaves.
Oh, brother.
It's an enslaved African port, a former enslaved African port. It's one of these places that's so awesome that if you closed your eyes and took a picture with your camera, it wouldn't be a bad picture. It's exotic. It kind of reminds you of the Florida Keys. And when you're there, and may it just be me being on the over spiritual side, you can almost, if you just relax, you can hear our folks talk to you. And it's not expensive at all. So if you just need to get away, if you ever been to the Florida Keys, it's like that.
Yeah, the Keys are beautiful.
And don't know, and most of our folks don't know nothing about it. And it's a lot of our folks there. It's a lot of our folks retiring now. It's a beautiful place.
A lot of folks are retiring in Florida. I got my uncle Ron. Ron retired to Florida. He stays in a community with nothing but, man, I mean, you got to be, I think, 60 or older. I mean, it's crazy. I drove over there and it was beautiful, man. They had their own community. It was gated security in the front. I don't even think they allow kids in there. So it was a real quiet place. Florida is kind of crazy how you can cross over into Florida and then see nothing but palm trees. You in Georgia, you see regular trees, you cross that border, and now you in Florida and you see palm trees and the weather change. Even the smell of the air change. Florida's a beautiful place. You do have to watch out for the natural disasters in Florida though, but that's the only thing I will complain about Florida. And you need to learn Spanish. If you live deep off in the Florida and you live in the Florida Keys and you off in Miami and Orlando, I think Spanish should be our second language.
Yeah. I'm heading to Miami tomorrow. I'll be heading there in the morning.
Yeah. I think we should learn a second language anyway.
So everybody, you know what? We was going to transition to a conversation. Y'all, feel more than welcome to go ahead and bang it out on insurance. We wanted to talk about some of the advantages of insurance. So I know Jamie.
Health, life, what type of insurance?
Life.
Life, got you.
Life insurance. So Jamie, I know you was you're a dual superstar. You got the gun control and you got the life insurance. I want you to talk about your life insurance, how long you've been in life insurance, and how should people utilize it as an advantage to change their circumstances. Maybe
You know,
why is it getting overlooked? It's not advantage we should look into.
you know, I mean, this is something that's dear to me because when you look at, you know, myself, I've been selling life insurance for the last 5 years, and it's because I got tired of seeing people with GoFundMe's, right? And it's a missed opportunity for us, right? We talk about empowering us. One of the biggest way to grow wealth in the United States is home ownership and life insurance, right? We look at why other cultures are growing is because when they people die, they're not leaving a debt, right? They're leaving life insurance for $250,000, $1 million, so the next generation can automatically show up. While when we die, we got to find somebody to scrape up $10,000 to bury us. And so life insurance is that important to me. And it, again, I'm all about even the playing field, right, for us, because we have relinquished that right for too long. And, you know, I got this from my grandmother. My grandmother had life insurance on everybody. You always knew when somebody died in the family because she always got a new living room set, right? She got something done to the house, right? She got something was upgraded.
Wow.
And because it allowed her to grow wealth. I mean, let's just put it plain and simple, right? So we like to wait until we get gray and old and get sick and then try to get life insurance and then talk about it costs too much. Right? Instead of getting in our 20s where we can pay $20 a month and have $1 million policy. So when we die, guess what? Our families can now go off to school, get an education, can build their own businesses, can establish a community in themselves. And that's where it comes from, right? Is how do we lead our generation better off? And a lot of times with our generation, we get worse off, because we take on those debts rather than taking on that income.
Right. That's just
So
powerful.
cool.
Go ahead, B. I know you couldn't get in.
Yeah. I'm very familiar with what he's saying, and I have a lot of friends. Well, I used to work in a multicultural environment, so I have a lot of associates. I say people I associate with, who they even told me, brothers and sisters who listening as well. They even told me about how they insure the oldest, like me, you, Jamie, and TY, right? We brothers or cousins. We'll get a policy out on our oldest relative. Costs us $30 a month. It's $1 million. Each one of us, when that person passes away, we put them in the ground and walk away with $1 million. I mean, $250,000 each one of us.
Yeah.
And then the next oldest person, they get him too. And everybody continues to stay wealthy. Becomes wealthy and maintains wealth because of that. Just imagine, me and you do a show on Sunday together. Just imagine if we were brothers and our dad passed away, where would our show end up? With both with $500,000 related infused, $500,000 tax-free dollars at that.
Tax-free. And you know what? That's the biggest thing we miss, right? And that's why insurance will never be taxed, because it's used by them.
Yeah.
Right? They don't want to get paid that $1 million and pay taxes on. So it will never be taxed on life insurance. And so we missed it, and we trying to say, give me some of the money in the bank, and now all of a sudden we got to pay estate taxes. When life insurance is like, you know what? It's free and clear.
Yeah, it's you literally trip over a bag of money because your parent died.
Right.
Yep. I
So,
believe
Jamie-
it's free and clear because they taxing us on health insurance. So I think they taking the health insurance income and using it towards that. So, okay. Yeah. And that's what I believe, because we talk about life insurance, but what about health insurance? That is so hard to get right now, so expensive. They giving life insurance away almost $5 a month, get you $250,000 a year. But what about health insurance? You know, to keep us healthy so we can live longer. That's more important.
You know what? Before we take before we go that range, Jamie, why don't you talk a little bit about how you can use life insurance, especially when you purchase it for a kid, and then you can actually get cash value. Right?
Yeah.
Talk about that, because again, this is an instrument that we can use to invest and make money on while we're still living, or while the actual.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that. I would like to hear that.
Because I mean, here's the thing: there's really two types of life insurance. You got whole life and you got term life. I always tell people get whole life, because whole life earn cash value, right? And so people always talk about, but it costs more. Yeah, it costs more because not only are you earning cash value, but you're earning compound interest on it. And so it grows faster than the money in the bank. And so you can't be upset with you investing in yourself. Life insurance is investing in your family, right?
Mhm.
Is investing in your generations to come. So I tell people, listen, you always want to get two types of life insurance. You want to get whole life. Why? Because it stays with you for your whole life. Plain and simple, no matter what happens. Now, if you got a family, you want to determine how much should I get so my kids can go to school, they can live in a home. My wife ain't got to get married or she don't want to, right? And so that may say, hey, I need a $500,000 or even $1 million term. And it can be for a 20-year, 30-year period, or even 10-year period, depending on your obligations. But get whole because it ensures that when you die, something is left and everything you put in there is earning interest. And so when people learn about whole life, and sometimes, you know, some insurance agent try to sell you on all whole life, you know what? That's good, but it's not going to give you the biggest bang for your buck. I got a cousin I just written a policy for $50,000 whole life and $250,000 for a 30-year term, right? And so if something happens to him, his family is well taken care of. He never have to worry about that. And and I'm gonna say this as a man, if you're not leaving something for your inheritance, you are putting them at a disadvantage. If you don't have life insurance that's going to set your kids up, no, I may not be able to save $1 million by the time I die, but I can get $1 million policy. Right. And you said before, don't wait until you get in your late 40s and your 50s talking about you want life insurance. Get it while you're young. And if you happen to be that age, don't wait any longer. Get it now, right? Because every year you get older, the more it's going to cost you. And so if you get in as soon as you can, you will always come out with a bag of cash if you do it right. And listen, let me say this: our families deserve it. Plain and simple. Our families deserve
it. Hey, Jamie, tell them about the part where you can get your home insured, so when you die,
it get paid off.
Tell them about that.
There's an insurance that you can get specifically for your home. And so what it does is, and actually it's cheaper because what it does, as you pay off your loan, your principal becomes less. And so now it levels out your insurance. So instead of you paying a large amount, let's say your home is $200,000, that policy can be as low as $15 a month. But you know that when you die, your family won't get kicked out of the house that you've been paying into for 10, 15, 20 years. And for some people, almost at their payoff status. And families can't keep it going. And so you can get insurance on your home. You can get insurance on your spouses. Anyone who you come in contact with that impacts your life, you can get insurance on. And let me say this, brothers, if you're not getting insurance, and again, you can visit my website at jclayinsurance.com. Give me a call, you know, especially if you live in the state of Illinois right now. But if you need to talk to someone in a different state, I can get you somebody in a different state, because that is the biggest thing that we're missing out on, and the reason why we stay.
And what companies do you represent, Jamie?
I represent over 31 companies, and that's why I love it. I used to work for one company, and I felt they didn't have all the tools I need to help the people I needed to help. So I contracted with a company that allows me to sell for over 31 companies, so I can find the best policy for you.
Okay. Now I know about experiences where parents have gotten life insurance for their kids. Those kids go to college. They use that money from that life insurance to actually buy them cars, or buy them properties, whatever, right? Things of that nature. How does that work? You know, is that something that you would advocate for or suggest to people? What's your ideas on that?
My suggestion to everybody: as soon as your child turns 1 year old, get insurance. Plain and simple. Because you can pay. You've seen the commercials, Gerber commercials. You can pay $10 a month, and that child, when they graduate out of college, will have enough money to put down for a home. Not only to do whatever they want with it, right? And that's how we look at how people going out paying $50,000 down for a house, and what they get from is because they've been paying for life insurance since the child was born. And so I think the law says you have to be at least 30 days old to get insurance on them. Once you get that, get your insurance so that that child, you setting that child up for success. And once that child reaches a certain age, they can take over that policy at that exact rate, right? So now they're still growing cash. They're still building and paying little or nothing for it.
Okay.
Hey, EJ, here's another thing. Here's another tool for people with children that's outside of the insurance realm and it's in the financial realm. It's called a target IRA. It's like it works just like a 401k, but it's this. It works. This is how it works. All of us have 1-year-olds.
Okay.
And we go, I'm gonna start a target IRA. And you can put, let's say you just want to put $25 a paycheck in. It starts off, you say, our kid is gonna be 18 and 2039, right? You get into a target IRA, you putting $25 in a month. In the beginning, it's a very aggressively invested in the stock market, growing at a 7% rate every month, every year. Some years it might be 14, some years it might be 6, but it's growing steadily. And a lot of people do this. They get their kids in the target IRA. This thing has been invested for 18 years, and when that kid turns 18, they hand that kid $250,000, $300,000.
Okay, that's the target IRA.
Yes.
A target IRA, meaning there's a date on the expiration of it.
Oh, okay. So there's a date. So what about the taxes? How does that look on that?
It works just like a 401k at the end.
Right.
You get taxed, but again, you might have $300,000-$400,000. Who don't mind giving a kid? Okay, it's $300,000. Who don't mind giving a kid $187,000 and say, here you go.
Yeah.
Right.
You're 18. You don't have a plan. You want to start your own business. Here you go, young brother.
Yeah.
Here you go, son.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's a really critical. These are critical tools that are used to build wealth that we have to keep talking over and over again. We have to keep doing it over and over and over and over again. You know, to really
Let me say this. I mean, I got family members who I actually hold seminars like, guys, we got to do this, right? Has some people die in the family and we trying to find out if they got insurance, if it's still valid. Because here's the thing, you don't want to wait till it's too late, because if you purchase an insurance and you die within the first 2 years of that insurance policy, you can trust that insurance company is doing all they can not to pay you. Right. Plain and simple, right? They're going to go back through all your medical records. And if you lied about one thing, your blood pressure being off by one digit, they are not going to pay you. But once you reach 2 years, ain't nothing they can ever do. Even if, I don't condone this, even if the information was not fully true, they cannot reject your policy, plain and simple. And so we always wait till it's too late. I mean, I actually know somebody who got a policy and passed within a year, and guess what? The insurance company did not pay. So it's too late. Get into it as soon as you can, so that you can make sure you position yourself and your family for the future. And I tell people, you know what? You don't mind spending $100-something on a cell phone bill. You mean tell me you can't spend $50 on life insurance, $60 on life insurance? That cell phone bill at the end of the month, all that money is gone. Life insurance is going to keep your generations going on to higher and higher levels.
What's your favorite rider, or what riders would you suggest putting onto a life insurance policy?
Accident riders, because here's the thing, most people don't want to do it, but accident rider gives you double what the policy is. At a certain age, you are more likely to die in an accident than you are from natural causes. And so if you get that accident ride on there, you are doubling your money just like that, what with paying pennies more on that policy. Really? If you got kids, put your kids or grandkids on a rider. Okay, yeah, definitely. And then because kids, I mean, there are riders like for kids, you put another $20,000-$30,000 on it for like $5 a month on top of your policy. Yeah. And so those are the things that we got to start teaching people. And I tell people, especially people our age, because you're more likely to die in an accident than you are from natural causes. get that accidental death rider.
Okay, accidental death rider. Okay.
Let me ask you this. How about this? Those say those communities we was talking about, those communities we was talking about, some of the black community, distressed black communities, right? Or them what happens if a lot of those rappers is killing each other, go getting life insurance? I mean, just like being responsible. Can insurance companies deny certain areas from getting insurance because of the crime in the area?
No, they can't, right? Because insurance is not only governed by the state, it's governed by the federal government, right? There's a lot of requirements that have to be, and those type of issues will hinder their ability to sell insurance, right? They'll be shut down. Well, I will share with you. Now, what tends to happen in those areas is that we tend to fall to other health issues sooner than others, which cause our insurance to be higher, right? We wait now until we got hypertension to say we don't get insurance, right? You got to get it, and because we are more likely to have those issues, we got than other people do. Because whenever you go to a doctor's appointment, your numbers are reported to a national database. Your doctor has to report your appointments to a national database. And so when the insurance company go out to pay, all they do is go to that database and see if you got any medication for hypertension, any medication for cholesterol. They start adding that stuff up and saying, hey, no, this person didn't tell us about this cholesterol issue, so we're not going to pay. Within the first 2 years, they can do that. And so, go ahead.
Not to change the conversation, but yes, we need health. We need this insurance. But when you said hypertension and cholesterol, we do need to start talking about an approach to fix that, because we know that we have this issue and we are not doing nothing about it but taking these medications, which does not help us at all. It makes things worse.
Maybe we'll talk about that next week, because that's his own. Next
week.
That's like his own conversation. You know,
right. That's all I was saying. That's all I was saying.
But we was talking. I wanted to make sure we got to life insurance.
Right. I got you. Okay. That's all.
Health insurance is. You know, we talking about. You know, I think you. I mean, you're the biggest vegan I've ever seen. I think you used to be a vegan, right? Or you still a vegan? Oh yeah, I know. I know you're a vegan with the most girth that I've ever seen in my life.
Well, you stupid, man. Yeah, because he had his guns out all on the table, didn't he? He just.
He just ate us, man.
Hey, where he got to be in Texas.
But you know what? Hey, but you know what? We laughing, but hey, gorillas are vegan.
Yeah.
On the real.
How about that?
One of the strongest animals in society.
I didn't want to lose the significance of why we should be thinking differently. I mean, and I really appreciate all this info y'all putting in the air for people to, people think these conversations are boring, but these are the real deals right here. These are the real deal conversations. So, I know it felt like I cut you off, Jamie. So if you was, wanted to.
No, I think you're on ahead, man. These are life-changing conversations, right? Because, we spend so much time talking about stuff that don't build anything, right? Don't build our family, don't build wealth, don't build independency, don't build security. And we're always searching for it, and we're searching for it for the quickest method rather than saying, hey, concrete steps that I can do right now to ensure not only my success, but my family's success to come, right? All that other stuff don't mean anything. We want to go out and spend $250 on a pair of gym shoes, but yet you can't get life insurance. And listen, if you out there in that life, listen, that's your life. You do what you want, but don't leave your family. Here you are, and gold chains and everything, and here they are trying to sell it to, right?
Right.
Make sure you get life insurance. That's the best thing you do for your family. I mean, for those of us who've been out in their life, you give your family hardship, at least if you ever pass, that they know that you thought about them even while you were in that life. And so I tell brothers all the time, just because you're in that life don't mean you have to think like that life. I know a lot of brothers who out on the street and want to do better and take the step to make sure their family is taken care of. And that's through life insurance. That's through leaving an inheritance. Because at the end of the day, the only people that are going to take care of us is us.
All right, man. Y'all plug yourself, man. You got anything else, EJ?
I just wanted to stress, especially Ty and Brian's point to what Jamie was talking about earlier, is that there are organizations that are forming around, learning, conceal and carry and training, proper training around using guns. And I think that's really a good opportunity to really organize around a lot of good values, Black community values and what we need to do. I think that's one of the perfect breeding grounds for that. Especially, what was the name of that organization you mentioned in Georgia, which is growing pretty fast?
NAGA.
National
African American Gun Association.
Yeah, so I just want to put that out there again, man, that, it's not only good enough, just to get to conceal and carry. We definitely want to protect ourselves, but I think it's also really just as vitally important to get involved in these organizations so that way we can start being in conversations with other people with the same interests, and then we can start building on that. I think that's really a great piece to be able to use to do that. So that's the last piece I wanted to stress earlier before Brian cut me off, man. And Brian, why you ain't got no Black people up on the wall, man?
I'm gonna move.
Anyway, B,
You know what?
Jump in. I think Ty wanted to say something.
show coming on Tuesdays, Saturdays, Sunday.
Ty want to say
Yeah.
something.
I want to say something real quick about the insurance, not life insurance, but the insurance as far as the fact of carrying a concealed weapon. Now, is this a false sense of security? Because let's remember that even though these companies, we may have insurance, who running these insurance companies? So, I mean, I need to speak to a person who actually shot and killed somebody who has this insurance that was protected, so I even know that this insurance would really protect me. You understand?
You know what, brother?
From?
Let me share this. In Chicago, there was a guy at the Ford Motor Plant over there on Torrance that was in a situation where he had to defend himself, and he used this exact company. And not only was he able to get money back from Ford, all his back pay from the time that he was let go because of this incident, but he was also able to live a much better life when it was all done, when the suits were done.
Wow.
I know people personally that have utilized these companies, and the stories are told. And this guy I actually met in the training class to get certified to be an instructor. So I know it's not a lie. He told me himself. So that's why I'm saying, if you're going to carry, get trained and get insured.
Get insured.
I want to have it and not need it, and need it and not have it.
There you go, brother.
What is a typical rate for like insurance when you conceal and carry? What does that look like, Jamie?
It starts off at around $30 a month. No, and so again, I'm not a salesperson for them, but I do use them. They cover if your bond is $500,000, they would pay that $50,000 to get you out. They would pay your attorney fees. They would pay up to $700 a month for lost wages. They would pay for post-traumatic stress disorder, because listen, no one's going to be able to take someone else's life and go on with theirs, right? That's going to be something that you're going to want to take care of mentally. And so they cover a lot more than that. And they give a 1-year guarantee. For any reason you ain't happy with insurance, they'll give you a full refund, all the money's paid.
Okay.
But this is just, see, I'm like the devil's advocate, because just like insurance companies don't want to pay, so there's going to be some type of clause in there that's going to say, but wait, if you did this, and this, we're not going to cover you.
If you go out and murder somebody, they not going to cover you.
Right.
Okay.
But
it is for self-defense.
For self-defense. Now, that's dependent on the investigation's outcome, correct?
My man.
Well, Ty, I love your devil's advocate, but here's what I would say to you, brother. I would love to have a conversation in regards to that with you. This is a company that I know that I can trust. This is that I've seen be successful in what they do. And at the end of the day, their job, again, they have the best attorneys, no matter where you are in the country, to defend the Second Amendment and to defend your right to defend yourself. That's their whole purpose. Yeah.
I got you.
In one of my class, somebody asked the guy, is there any, has ever been a case that you guys did not take? Yeah, there was a lady who was down in Texas. Her and her husband had shared custody of their kids. She met her husband somewhere, picked up the kids from the husband, went back over to the husband's car and shot him. And they said, no, we're not going to defend that murder, right? And so, no, they don't defend murder. But if you're in a situation where you have to defend yourself, they will do all they can to defend you, plain and simple.
Amen.
And so, not just attorneys, but the best attorneys when it comes to self-defense, because you don't want somebody, a damn accident attorney, trying to save your butt when you have to defend yourself from someone trying to take your life.
True story.
All right, Ty, plug yourself, man. Plug your business, man, real quick.
I'm actually in a truck right now. I had two businesses. One was prop care. We did industrial cleaning, and then my second business, the first business got taken down by COVID. That business was grossing 320 a year, and I was only working 4 days a week, 4 days a month, to be honest with you. And that business went down in COVID. I came into work one day and I got that tie. We no longer want subcontractors on site anymore due to COVID. And that was it for me. 10 years gone down, 10 years of that just got taken away because of COVID. But luckily I started a trucking company, which is McCullough Transport, my last name Transport. And I've been doing that now successfully for 3.5 years, and that's been keeping me afloat.
How can somebody how can somebody reach out to that trucking company if they was interested in doing that line of work or needing a job?
Because I've actually started a company for consulting and helping individuals get started with trucking, and let them know it's not that hard to get into. It is hard to run because of the overhead costs and all the red tape. But once you get past all that, it's actually something great to do, because as long as these trucks are moving, the world's gonna turn. Once these trucks stop moving,
Put your number. What's your number in your email? Plug your number in your email.
Okay.
It's the wind down, cuz. It's the wind down.
Okay. Yeah, I'm winding down. fellas. Oh, wow.
Man, Tyler's about to start another show, man.
Yeah. Number out
right.
there in your email, right? What's your number in your email, real quick?
All right, you guys can find me at ty at mcculloughtransport.co, and you can catch me on the line 678-895-4062 out of Georgia. You can call me anytime, 24/7, especially if it's about business.
Congratulations for your bounce back. H-Rap, plug yourself.
I'm H-Rap B, part owner built for this network. We're a podcast network. We have several shows on there from Jersey, Texas, Atlanta, here in Chicago. And I got a couple in Atlanta. I got a few everywhere. Man, at the end of the day. And I do 2 shows. It's called The End of the Bench. I'm a former athlete. So when you're on the end of the bench, at the end of the game, you talk about things. You talk about life. You talk about sports. You talk about the girls in the stand. So I came over to the end of the bench. My 2 shows, we got some on every day of the week, 7 days a week. My 2 shows are called The End of the Bench, obviously, and come on Tuesdays at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, Saturdays at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. Well, I'm talking about everything under the sun. This week will be a major hit in regards to news, but I want to talk to guys like Ty. I want to talk to guys like Jamie. I want y'all stories to be out there. It's a reason you ended up right where you are. I want the whole world or our entire community to hear those stories so you can inspire people. Like Jamie, Ty just said, if you want to learn about this, I'll tell you. I want you to come on my show, and this is an official invite. I want you to come on my show and talk about this. Jamie, I want you to come on my show to talk about insurance. I want you to talk about conceal and carry, things of that nature, because for whatever reason, I got on late, but for whatever reason, carrying a gun is a bad thing in our community. The news has made us feel like if you got a gun, you're a bad person. I want you to come on and talk about it. And this is just not talk. I need everybody to be on my show at all times every story in this universe is valid, because every time we let somebody pass away, especially our seniors, without telling their stories, my personal opinion is we lose about 250 years of history. Just right there and there. If something happened in Rob's life, Ernest's life, Ty's life, and your life, Jamie, that somebody needs to hear. So I want y'all to come on and just let me know. Just reach out to me. I just linked up with you on Instagram and on Twitter. I do a lot of work on Twitter. I meet a lot of people on Twitter at @HRAP_B. If you're listening to this and you have a story to tell, you have a business to promote, please get in contact me at HRAP_B on Instagram and Twitter. And my name is Brian with an I, D Williams on Facebook. You reach out to me, say, hey, this is what I want to do. You in there. You got a little commercial. You want to film a commercial of yourself on your phone, shoot me that. This is what I want you to do for your show. In the middle of your show, I'm going to plug it. And that's it. I'm not charging you nothing. I'm not asking you for anything. We need to work together to get things taken off. Instead of, you know what, one day, well, here go today.
Right, here go today. I love it. I love it.
Built for this network. That's where you
Built
can
for
find
this network. On Spreaker.com, SPREAKER.com, and you can find me at the end of the bench. THA end of DA bench. Reach out to me at HRAP_B, Instagram, Twitter. Reach out to me. Let's link up. Let's get some things accomplished. Again, I'm not trying to charge you for nothing. If you got a 30-second thing that you want to throw up, hey, this is who I am, this is what I do this, here go my phone number, call me. If you record that via this tool or toy, send it to me. I'm gonna put it up.
Right. See, Jamie, you ain't the only one that's long-winded. Plug yourself, Jamie.
Go ahead and plug myself, Jameson Clay. You can check out my insurance at jclayinsurance.com. Go ahead and put in your information. I will contact you and get your information you need so that you can build wealth and build generations. Also, NUFA, National United Firearm Association. I am a concealed carry instructor. I'm trying to educate our people not only in the ability to have concealed, but the ability to be well trained. And so look me up, make sure you sign up. I got classes actually coming up this weekend. You can sign up for the class. And again, I have a defensive class set up for April 15th. We're going out to Peatone out on the farm and do some defensive shooting. So check me out, NUFAUSA.com.
What's your Instagram? IG?
Instagram is NUFAUSA.com. NUFAUSA. That's for Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
Okay.
On Facebook, we have over 22,000 people on there, Second Amendment people. So I got a pretty large presence on Facebook.
So that NUFAUSA is your IG.
Take the toll roll.
That's your IG, right?
Yep.
Okay, got you. Okay, got you. All right, brother.
Guru, go ahead, man. Plug yourself.
Let's go around.
Hey man, just glad to be here, man. Let me put time on mute, man. But anyway, you're trying to mess up my plug, man. But anyway,
I'm back. I'm here. I'm listening. I'm here.
Anyway, yeah, this is your boy, man. What I primarily have been doing in a legacy in my family is ministerial work. I'm a biblical enthusiast. Now I'm a pastor. Been pastor about 7 or 8 years, probably even longer than that. But we specialize in working in using a metaphysical lens in terms of understanding the scriptures and then how to use it practically, so that way we can pass this information on to our children. So for instance, we were talking about sin today and righteousness, and ultimately what we're talking about when we break those down out of religious talk, basically what we're talking about is a moral code. What is right, what's wrong, what puts us in right standing, what takes us out, and then being able to pass those codes on to our children. Human beings will not survive on this earth without morality, without moral code. We just won't be able to do it. We won't be able to maintain community. We won't be able to build without code. You can't build anything. You can't work anything without having a best practices. And that's what Ty talked about. That's what Jamie's talked about in terms of using the pistols. So it's this. So that's the way we approach this. That's how we do it at our church. We have Bible study every Thursday, 5:30. We also just finished up our 21 days of prayer and fasting, which was amazing. Man, and one of the things that we incorporated in this particular session was about incorporating our ancestors in our prayers, right? Because we see that in the scriptures. They're always referring to the God of Abraham, God of Jacob. So, it's something that we have to also do too, is incorporate our ancestors in our prayers. Also remember them, give homage to them, because they're the reason why we're here today. Also, I'm the fixer. I do a lot of work in terms of handyman work, renovations, things of that nature. Sometimes I don't tend to do that because I guess you get a lot of business doing that. But that's one of the things I love to do. I love working with people, but I love working with things because you can actually see your results immediately. When you work with people, it may take a couple of months, years, if ever. So I love working with, if I go in and take, fix a flange on the toilet, that's done that day. Not, you get good money with that. So with that, man, that's your boy, that's your brother, that's your friend. I ain't gonna go the other way right now. But with that being said, I'm out, man. Oh, and you can find me at Ernest Sense on IG, Ernest Sense. And then you can also find me at Ernest L. Johnson on Facebook.
Gotcha.
All right. I'm Robert Orr. You can catch me on the Collective Perspective. Go to YouTube, like the Collective Perspective page. Do a show on Wednesdays, we do a show on Sundays, trying to get this information out to you from a bunch of brothers networked in the world. And you also can catch me on Sunday mornings at 10 o'clock on Built for This Network. Collaborated, Joe Jackson with my man, End of the Bench, Mr. H-Rap himself. Me, my man, him and TC, we bang out some conversation, got a whole different flavor. It be a few veins in our necks every once in a while. Important work that we doing over there too. So if y'all can check that out, go to Built for This Network. That's where we live stream from over there. Join the conversation. Make sure your conversation get read, your input, all of it's needed. And so the reason why we do these plugs is because a lot of times you can see some voices on the screen and you have no idea what they do. You'll mess around and think like, oh man, here goes some brothers talking again. No, we run across some good brothers. We don't need to see these good brothers we're networking with. With that, Collective Perspective